ever read something in a book or heard something on a podcast and said, you are going to try this? Maybe you even took a course and you paid money and you wanted to implement the thing that you will learn, but for some reason you haven't been able to. Well, we're gonna change that. Hey there, I'm Esther Aviport, a productivity coach, and here to help you rewire your brain to be more efficient and effective. And today we're discussing why you read some really good ideas in books and hear some really good advice, but for some reason just can't implement it. And let me tell you a secret. Well, it's not a secret if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, and you know that when we say thinking, it's not one big thing. There are actually 28 parts that make up these thinkings. These parts are called cognitive functions. When these cognitive functions are strong, then they make our lives easier. When these cognitive functions are weak, they're called cognitive deficiencies, and they make our lives harder. We struggle with them a whole lot more. Now, we all have stronger ones and we all have weaker ones, and we could all improve all of them. However, sometimes they're just really weak and it makes it hard to do the things that we intend on doing. So if you read something in a book that you really want to do, but you have a cognitive deficiency, you're going to have a really hard time doing it and you're not going to be able to do it. So first, you have to improve your 28 cognitive functions, and then you can go and do them, and it will be super, super, super easy for you. You'll create systems and you'll work together with your brain, and you'll just be able to go and actually do it. Now, it's a lifetime of work to change your cognitive functions. It's not so simple. You can work one-on-one with someone like me, productivity coach, that works on the cognitive function. You could start by listening to previous Rewire Your Brain episodes, or even better, this is a secret we have coming up soon, starting after episode 350. Major changes coming specifically to help you change those cognitive functions. But meanwhile, what you do? I believe everything starts with self-awareness. Now, you don't have that awareness. Like right now, you maybe until now, you didn't know that you have a cognitive deficiency, and you didn't even know what the cognitive functions are because there are so many of them. And you're just overwhelmed by hearing these 28 things. And you're like, I for sure have 28 cognitive deficiencies, and I don't even know what's going on here. So how are you going to start becoming more aware of what's going on here? I'm going to make it a little simpler for you by moving a little back and explaining to you that there are 3 phases of thinking, okay? We have input, where we take in the information. We have elaboration, where we think about it. And we have output, where we tell the world what we know. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at this thing that you want to do, this new habit, this new skill, this new thing that you read in a book or listen to a podcast and want to implement. And you're going to think about, am I struggling with input, understanding what this actual habit is? Probably not if you decide you want to implement it, but it could be you don't understand all the actual details. B, the elaboration part, the processing it. You want to do it, but in your brain, there's just like certain parts of it that you can't actually make it out. Or most probably, if you chose you want to do this is C, in the output phase. It's in the actual doing that you have a hard time doing it. So first step, get super clear on which one of the phases are you struggling with. And then you're going to work together with your brain to go and change that. So let's say, for example, if it's in the input phase, you're going to find a new way to take in this information. Maybe you're going to have somebody else read it to you. Maybe you're going to watch it instead of listening to it. Maybe you're going to read it instead of listening to it, but you're going to find a new way to take it in. If it's in the elaboration, in the thinking process, you're going to think if there's a new way that you could process it. Maybe you could write it and figure out all the points. Maybe you need to play a game with it and hang up signs around your room to go and figure it out. Maybe you need to talk it over with someone else to go and process it in your brain. Or maybe it's in that output phase. It's in the output phase where you're telling the world you're actually doing this new habit that you've learned, and for some reason it's not working. So maybe you have to change your schedule for it to fix, or maybe you have to do it a little differently than what it says in the book so that way it works for you. But the point is to change how you've been having a challenge. You're going to change that part of it so that way it could be a whole lot easier for you. If you actually want to get super deep in this and do want to work with me to be able to change those cognitive functions, go to lifepixuniversity.com/your brain rewired. It's lifepix.com/your brain rewired, because we're going to rewire your brain. That's all for this episode, and I will see you on the next one.
That's all for this episode of the Life Pix University podcast, but I have a huge favor to ask of you that will not only support the show, but will also help the people you love most. We are striving for 1 million downloads by the end of 2025, and we can't do this without your help. If you love this episode, please share it with 2 of your family and friends so they too can rewire their brains to have an extraordinary marriage. It was awesome spending time with you, and I'll see you on the next episode.